was already prepared and planned and, you know, change the way that we do business. So already the first day I knew what we needed to do. We needed to clean the house. We need to make sure everyone's safe. And so automatically I'm changing, you know, constantly. So even day one, I'm not going to worry. I'm just going to, because we went through the 2007, right? 2008, 2009, 2010. So I would prepare back then when we had you know, the bottom of the market and crazy REOs and short sales. And I survived during that time. And actually 2012 was my biggest years until today of sales. I did over 60 transactions in 2012. So I am really good with adapting and yeah, just constant changing and building the new marketing and you know, how to help clients, mostly how to help clients in this market.
Well, that's quite amazing, actually, to both of you. And it sounds like you both pivot really, really well. And the experience has surely helped you quite a bit. So that's really good. So here's my next question.
Well, speaking of pivoting, okay, so I'm going to speak for Kenny because he gave me permission.
Go ahead.
A year ago, as you all remember, Climb shut down. It was absorbed into, you know, Realty and Colbert. Anyway, so literally, like, I wish Kenny were here because he'd probably give you the whole entire like play-by-play, but really, he had no brokerage. He basically was starting and right on the cusp of the shutdown. I mean, and this man has grown to, I think, 90 to 100 agents in a year. I mean, he was like shopping around for different brokerages last year. I remember he took me to lunch to kind of pick my brain. I mean, like that really is that is a webinar in and of itself. So if anything, like what I went through and what Trang went through, like Kenny honestly like was put through the fire. So that just goes to show, like, if you really want to succeed in this business, you just make it happen somehow. I mean, kudos to Kenny.
Well, thank you, Herman, for sharing that as well. So here's my next question for you. Did you sell more in 2020 than 2019, or how did you do that? Trang, let's start with you.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
Did you sell more homes in 2020 than 2019, and how did you do that, if you did?
I did in 2020, I did about 66 transaction, 2019, 60 transaction, and this year already right now it's about 30% higher than last year.
Wow.
And I am not, and there's a reason for that. I put more time in real estate because I'm not traveling. I think that's the biggest reason too. And a lot of, you know, referrals and past clients for sure. So there's a lot more real estate transaction, more real estate topic, really big. People sitting at home, they get bored, they want to move. So there are a couple of reasons for my the numbers this year compared to last year and the year before, 2019.
Okay, and it sounds like past clients one of your biggest sphere of influence.
Yeah, there's a lot of reason why people want to move this year, more so than 2019, because interest rates really low. So there's a lot. People at home, you get bored. I get bored. I want to travel. I can't travel. So what do? You move to a new house. You want a bigger yard. You want. That's why the single family price has gone up so much, so crazy. We have so much problems now because of the price increase that we haven't seen for a long time. For a long time.
Wow, it is. We're seeing that as well. And Herman, what about you?
Well, the question was,
did you sell more homes in 2020 than 2019? If so, how did you do it? Oh,
yes, absolutely. I think I increased my sales by, I think, like almost 15 or 20 million.
Wow.
So, and you know, and honestly, that's like, and there was like a lost quarter, frankly, once the shutdown happened in March, April, May. So I'm like completely flabbergasted just how resilient the market is. But I don't know if resilient is the right word, because resilience means you're giving credit to like someone who had some merit and was doing some type of work. I mean, it's just a function of what Trang said. It's like the pandemic made everyone reshuffle their values, and the home became like your gym and your church and your school, and all of a sudden everyone was just diverting all their attention to getting a property. So I mean, I would love to say, oh, I had some special like powers to make more sales happen, but no, I really think it's just a function of what was happening in the economy in the world, and just being prepared for taking on all that business and just adapting easily. yeah, so I mean, we'll see what happens this year. I mean, and for this, you asked me about 2019 and 2020, but 2021, Mony, I'm telling you, like these past 3 months, the Q1, I have never worked so hard in my 20-year career. It's because it's like, I think it's so nonstop now. There's no, I don't have time to poo. I don't have time to poo. It's like, I think like everyone who was on the sidelines last year because of the pandemic or the fires or the election drama, or just, you know, skittish in general, they're all back now because new year, new vaccine, new president. And so now there's this influx of people who were on the sidelines last year. And it's just really, you know, I shouldn't complain because like I said, last year, I thought I was gonna be saying, do you want fries with that? So I should not complain, but I'm really burnt to a crisp at this point. I think a lot of realtors feel that way. It's like there's no boundaries of when you can. After a year of work from home, there's no such thing as off and on. People can touch you and reach out to you any time of the day, and it's just really it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah,
but I'm so grateful. So
well, thank you for saying that being grateful is a great thing, and I could honestly feel and understand where you're coming from as well. Trang, 30% increase from last year already. That's amazing, and 15 million more than last. Come on, Herman. Most people can't even do 15 million. That's incredible. Just your increase. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. So here's my third question for you. What habits under COVID will you continue to do post-COVID? Herman, we'll start with you.
Girl, where do I begin? I mean, personally, and this is, don't come for me, okay? But I am loving the COVID business environment.
Example,
I
please.
hate open houses. I hate open houses. I just feel like there's so much. I mean, if you're like a starting like realtor, you like them because it's new, but when you have like 14 listings at one time, like the coverage, the constant, it's like so much, a lot of work. And frankly, people always think open houses are back, but like honestly, the market, like every county around San Francisco increased 20% last year without open houses. So when people say, I need open houses, no, you need open houses because you're trying to get business. Okay, let's be honest here. So if I wanted to continue in my dream of dreams, I would really like to just not have to do open houses again. I just think they're a really big chore, and they're really more for business procurement for the seller, for the agent. That's just my personal opinion. I'm also loving the whole PED situation. I know it's a chore, but it really cuts down on a lot of ding-dongs out there who just don't want to release their information and their names. And it's just really a great excuse to kind of like cut people out who just are a waste of time. So what else would I prefer? Yeah, I mean, like just asking for proof of funds up front too has also been fantastic. Just being more efficient with like vetting people. And now we have it because before in the past, if you ask for this, I'm like, you're discriminating. Well, I gotta release that. But now it's, you know, it's you're a vector girl. I can let you in my house. It's just only people living here. So yeah.
Well, thank you. No, I totally agree with you, Herman. I'm not a fan of open house either, so I get what you're saying. So how about you, Trang? What happens under COVID?
Yeah, he said exactly what I was thinking too. That's why we're like best buddy, right, Herman? By the way, my birthday is coming on 43.
Happy birthday!
Wow. Okay. That's
so
cool.
No, I mean, I wanted to continue with the, with the marketing that we do, the Zoom call. It saves so much time. With a lot of presentation could be done on Zoom calls. So that will continue. I assume in the near future, we're going to continue doing a lot of meeting like this. I think it's really efficient time driving around and traffic. You could do so much more with your time by cutting a lot of the driving time around, right?
Yeah,
and I love the calendar, the scheduling. I love it. Like Calendly, amazing.
Yeah,
we have one that my husband built, so similar. Anyway, so I love a lot of the new technology that came out from COVID.
Yeah, well, I think it's a great point because part of it is that you only get serious buyer to go with their agent. They don't want to waste their time, which is really, really cool. So, all right. Well, speaking of best buddies, now I know that you guys are gonna be 43 or 43, and you're gonna have like share almost a birthday. What do you admire about each other's business between the two of you? And let's be honest about this. Go ahead.
Mm,
I can start.
girl.
I can
Okay,
start.
Trang, go ahead, start for us.
I admire Herman. He is really funny. He makes fun. I mean, I'm sure that everyone, his client, have a blast working with him. That's number one. I already have blast talking to him. So that's really, create really good mood for the transaction. Already really stressful. He made it really fun for a lot of things in real estate. So I admire that about him. He's a really, really fun guy. I wish I am with him all day long. And of course, it's really creative. He's like a creative person, marketing. I am always watching what he's doing next and YouTube channel. That's all stuff that I really admire about Herman. And yeah, that's why he's so successful, right?
Right? Okay, Herman, see that? Man, that's a lot, buddy. So now you're gonna have to say something nice about her. Go ahead.
I could say a lot about Trang actually. So I really, first of all, outside of real estate, she's just has a great heart and is very generous. And that obviously spills over to her clients and her real estate business. But just give you an example, like we went together to Lady Gaga way back in the day. She invited me. We weren't that close necessarily, but we got together. I mean, like she just invited me, let her stay at her place there. I mean, just like that is so generous, honestly, like, and just her hospitality. And I know that's how she does her business too. Something else I admire about Trang is that I don't know how, I can barely even survive by myself and feed myself. Okay, I don't know how people with a husband / spouse, children, balance everything and post the numbers that she does. I don't like how. Yeah, share your secrets, honey. So the level of multitasking and being a great mom and wife too is just fantastic. That is something I can never speak to, and I don't know how other people do it, but I really, really admire Trang's able to. The drop in quality of her business never goes down because when people are having business, children and families and obligations, that should be your main priority, number one. And your business sometimes gets, things fall through the crack. With her, it's always pristine and on point. So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much. You can do it too. You know that you can do that as well. You just don't want to. You don't want to. You want to be single.
Well, my eggs dried up, so girl, I'm not got no choice at this point.
Herman, your production would just drop by 25 million, so that's all there is to it. Okay, all right. So here's the next question for you: if you didn't do real estate, what would be your career? Herman?
No, Trang, you go first. I have to think about this one.
Okay. What would you do?
Oh yeah. Some sort of business. Yeah, some sort of business. I like fashion. So maybe now with internet, so maybe online e-commerce, I think. Yeah. I can't. Yes.
Herman?
Would have to be something that you like, you're passionate about. So I love, trends and fashions and food, maybe going that route.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Travel.
Well, the night is young. I mean, you never know what you can do in the future. As for me, I don't know. I've had many, I don't know if y'all know this, but I've had many prior careers, like side hustles. Like my first job out of Berkeley was working for Gap Inc. corporate as an analyst. So I do have a fashion business sense, kind of like Trang. I only see 3 months though. And then I still do, print work all the time, like my cheekbones, yada yada yada. I was an aerobics instructor for many years, the Asian Richard Simmons, minus the fro. So I actually have I find a hard time like deciding what I want to do. But now that I'm a little bit older, what I'm really enjoying about my job right now is like directing these videos I'm doing. I just feel like art directing, curating, being a tastemaker. Like someone even told me you should be like charging people to do their real estate people to do their videos or to do their films because they're really like works of art. And something where I get to channel my creative outlet without a financial end goal, because that kind of limits your creativity. So it's something where I'm like, in a very pure artistic space is what I would love to do, honestly, one day.
So what I'm hearing from both of you is that it's whatever you're going to decide to do, it has to be a passion, just like what you're doing right now in real estate. You both love it very much. So cool. Well, speaking of career, what is the biggest sacrifice you've made for your career? Herman.
My waistline, girl. My waistline. Shoot. I gained 15 pounds under COVID.
No, you didn't. Did you really?
Yeah, you never see me naked. Trust me, I did. Yeah, I'm wearing Spanx now.
I don't want even want a visual. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is a family channel. It's a family channel, right?
Yeah, family channel. Okay, how about you, Trang? What's the biggest career that sacrifice you made for your career?
Well, I wouldn't say sacrifice. This is choice that you make. And if you want to go into this business, you know, you have to sacrifice your time and hard work. Anything that you want to do and become successful and be good at what you do, you have to put your time in it and do the hard work. So I wouldn't sacrifice. I love doing the hard work. I don't like the easy route. I don't like to be handed to. I don't like, you know, I want to do the right thing. And so I don't think that's as a sacrifice. It's a choice that I made for who I am as a character. So yeah, so anyone who want to do, you know, this business, you have to understand that you have to put your time, and your time could be your sacrifice. And let, you know, you could go travel, you could be with your friends, family, you could go out, but you stay home and do work, or you go out, you know, take care of your business, right? So time would be your sacrifice.
Okay, well, speaking of which, let me ask a follow-up question regarding that, because I think it's one of the most critical things in our business to produce and post the kind of numbers that you both do. It's to me, it's I don't know how you do it, and it's incredible. It's just so much sacrifice and time. So tell us a little bit about the time that you spent on your file, on your transaction, because I'm sure, like me, sometimes I'm working till midnight, you know, or I mean, I know I've seen emails from you, Trang, at 2 o'clock in the morning. So
Yes.
tell us a little bit about that, because people think that it's so easy. Like, oh my God, they make it look so easy. What do they do? Like, I mean, that's a true sacrifice. So tell us a little bit about your time in the business, how much you put in per day and things like that.
It's I would say 12 hours. I would say it's not consistent 12 hours. It could have been from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. And then, you know, when you go out and meeting clients, I don't really think that's time. That's me playing. So like, let's say at nighttime, then I'll be working, right? Like if I'm looking at houses, girl, it's fun to go look at houses, to go hang out with your clients, to show them houses, property. That's a fun part. I don't call it hours at all. So I would say the hours would be like, you know, let's say you get up at 4 a.m. or 6 a.m. or like you're staying from 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. But the rest, I mean, even though you're working, but yeah, I don't think for me, they're working hours.
Yeah.
But
okay.
you could say that I'm working 12 hours a day.
But for sure, odd hours, right? You're not like 8 to 5. Like if you're expecting 8 to 5, you're not going to do
No
the
way.
job, right?
If you're 8 to 5 agent, I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe
Yeah.
you could be tired and have a team and just
That's true.
Mhm.
Yeah.
part-time.
Okay. Herman, I know you don't sleep, buddy. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm on crack all the time. So no, I really agree with what Trang is saying. It's not a work for me. It's a lifestyle. Like I chose to live my life this way. No one put a gun to my head. If I was clocking hours in and out, I would have stayed in corporate America or be working at the post office. Clock in, clock out, get my benefits, and be done with it. But that's just not how I'm wired. So when people tell me how many hours do you work, or when they're asking me how to get into the business, I mean, like the framing that question shows me that's really not their passion. Because if you love it, it's not work. Like
Right.
if I don't do something in a day that's kind of related to real estate a little bit, like if I have a day off, I get kind of like nervous or kind of, I just feel like I'm fulfilled. Like it's, I wanna do it. It's not like, you know what I'm saying? So kind of what Trang was saying more eloquently than me. But if I had to like literally put a number down, easily 80, 90, 100 hours. I mean,
Wow.
Easily. Wow. I mean, there was one day on Tuesday, I was doing a listing presentation that was creating out of scratch. For some reason, I was working until 7 in the morning.
Wow.
but I didn't even notice it because I was having so much fun with the graphics and the fonts and this and that. So I feel like, you know, I'm a little bit of a weird, I guess, but yeah. Also, I'm ready to have kids, so I could probably be a little more flexible with my time.
Well, thank you both for being so honest about that, and then let people know how truthful that is. And I could definitely agree with that because it's not easy, the hours you put in. So next question, what is the biggest problem you are facing now in the business? Trang?
Yeah, we were talking about it yesterday because the market is so crazy for buyers. For sellers, it's amazing. And for, for sellers, oh, you give them an estimate and then, you sell for 100 grand over. So easy. If you're a seller's agent, listing agent, you're a superstar no matter what. In the seller's eyes, doesn't matter. Then you have buyers, right? I do about 60-40, depending on 60-40 seller and buyers. And so working with buyers, a lot more time. You see houses every day. You have to schedule it right away. You have to send Pete right away. You look at 10 disclosures. And then these people, like after a while, they don't even look at the disclosures and then they send non-contingent offer. And so you have to make sure they understand the disclosures. And then they're like, oops, So appraisal, doing comps, and then you can't just do comps because there's no sales. So you do pending sales. So you spend more time on it and be really, really smart about writing the offer that's going to be a winning offer. I stopped writing offer that is not going to win. I started writing offer that, hey, if we're not winner, we're not going to write.
Wow.
Amen.
Amen to that. Really, that's a great advice. So hopefully all of you are listening right now that you take that with you. I think that's a really, really awesome advice. Herman, how about you, sir? Can you hear me?
Yeah. He's so stressed.
There's no. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, yeah. Like if you're, I told the client, like if you're not, it's like the Olympics. If you're not going to go for gold, don't even try. Don't even try because it's just a waste of time, honestly. The biggest hurdle now is buyers on multiple fronts. Just like there's not enough inventory. Everyone wants to see things, and then stacking the tours back to back is so difficult because you have to like map it all out and trying to get all back to back as opposed to like seeing them 4 times separately. And if you don't book something immediately on calendar or showing time, you lost like that whole slot. It's really difficult. But more for that stuff is logistical. The thing that's really bothering me right now is the appraisals. I've had multiple properties where we're not appraising by over 100,000, multiple times. One was even 300K. And so before, if your appraisal didn't come in, that was the exception. Now it's the rule. And I feel like the buyers now, I'm coaching them, it's like, you know what, when you write an offer, just expect to have some overage to bring in the difference. And they're like, well, what's the difference? What do the comps say? The comps are irrelevant at this point. They mean nothing. So if you're not willing to have that buffer zone to bring in the cash difference to close and you're writing non-contingent, don't write. So half the time I'm discouraging buyers from writing because I know they have no choice. I mean, they have no chance. But I don't want to ever think I'm not helping them. So if it's a first offer or a new buyer, I'll do a giveaway through a freebie. I'll write the offer for them, right? Obviously, just because I don't want to think I'm not being helpful. But ongoing, if I know that the price that they want to offer has no chance, I will say, look, why don't I just check in with the agent on the offer due date time frame and see if it's worth writing. And if it's like, no, we have 10 offers, like a 300K over list on this, what you're asking me, then I'm not going to waste everyone's time doing it. So it's like a verbal float. So I'm just trying to find ways to save my clients' emotional roller coaster, essentially. Yeah.
Well, I think that you brought up a really good point there, Herman. So basically, it sounds like to me that, because of who you are, a lot of agents. You usually call them and say, look, here's where I'm going to be at. Is that going to be worth your time or not? I think that's hopefully that people take that point with them and then execute that. And I think that's a good one because there's a lot of time wasted if you don't do that.
Right.
Anything else, Trang? Anything else you'd like to add?
So this morning, I got a call from the appraiser to make an appointment. And my first question before I accept the appointment is, hey, do you know this Dublin area? Have you done one recently? Because Dublin's gone up 10-20%. So if you haven't done a Dublin appraisal, I'm sorry, I cannot accept your appraisal. I mean, I cannot accept the appointment. I would have to request for another appraiser. So one, they have to know, okay, they done one last week. You know, the market is really crazy. So the question is to prep to, of course, you prepare all the comps and everything. At the same time, you have to know if the appraiser is familiar with the market where you are at, right? You know, you can send all the information that you prepare to the appraiser, like pending sales and how many offers and what they have to help the appraisal. At the same time, you want to make sure that that appraiser is familiar with our market where you are at.
Okay, wow. That's actually an amazing point. Like you prep your appraiser as well. The same
Yes.
thing, I
This
go out
morning,
and make
yes.
sure I have all my homework done. So perfect,
Correct.
thank you. All right, so I'm gonna ask my last question and I'm gonna open up to the audience. Thank you so much for giving such great advice, very sincere, very genuine, real pragmatic too. That's what we're looking for. So the last question is, the business has changed so much in the past 5 years with mergers and takeovers and with iBuyers and all that. Are you scared we will be out of a job down the line? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts with that, Herman?
For some of y'all out there, yes. Yes. And I said it, okay? The business has not really changed in 40 or 50 years, frankly, but under the last 5, because of mergers, acquisitions, Wall Street and tech have come into the business, and it's becoming like Amazon, essentially, with, I'm not gonna name no names, but Wall Street has definitely come into the business, startups, iBuyers, all that stuff. I think what's gonna happen is kind of like what happened with like when Charles Schwab came into the picture, or Quicken, what's that tax thing you do on your own? I think that for a certain strata of realtor who has just been coasting along for a long time, they're going to be out of business, or they're going to be co-opted into a bigger corporate structure that just serves real estate. I'm not sure what entity that will be. Maybe it's going to be real estate Amazon or whatever. But there was always going to be a place for people with like very specific needs. Like, for example, a high net worth individual is not going to go to some like online like CPA situation, right? They're going to go and have a specialist, just like lawyers. So it's all about specialization. So I think the top tier people who want to solve their clients' complicated lives are always going to be in demand, and we can probably even charge a higher premium. Honestly, it's some of my really expensive listings. I charge 7% because they want me to do everything. I think that's the future for that really top tier agent. However, I think for the most of the mid-range agents, I do feel that there's going to be a squeeze, and it's really going to be like commoditized, kind of like what happened with the loan industry a long time ago. Like there was like 15 years ago, as a loan, anything, you can be making 6 digits easily. But after the overhaul happened, everything got commoditized, and really there's a cap on what you can do at this point. Maybe you get more if you're a regional manager or whatever, but basically there's like a limit. So I think that as Wall Street and corporatization starts to happen in real estate, residential real estate, I think that's kind of the future, frankly. Am I personally scared? No, because I feel like I'm confident in my own skills, and I think that I'm just going to adapt to the future. But that's just who I am. So I don't know about the majority of people, though. Agents, 80%, 80-20 rule. We'll see what happens.
Okay, thank you, Herman. I think that's a great point as well. Trang? And Kenny, you're back, so welcome back. And
Save the best for last.
We're on our last question. We're going to do Q&A here shortly, Kenny. So thank you for coming back, and you'll get involved in that. But the last question was, the business changed so much in the past 5 years with mergers and takeovers and acquisition with iBuyers. Are you scared that we'll be out of a job soon? So Trang?
I don't think so. There's going to be, new markets. There's going to be new technology. There's going to be new services. I don't think that I worry about my job at all, because I'm always going to be, some of my services will not be replaced. For example, they're going to find another Trang. You know what I mean? So I won't worry about that. But, you're always going to have to figure out, like, what are your values? What are your values that cannot be replaced? Because ultimately, in the end, it's a relationship, and it's about value and trust, and what you can do that they can't find somewhere else, right? In anything, if they can't find, in any business, it's always going to have competition, no matter what you do. Say that, delivery is going to be, truck and driving and, you know, the future, the next 20 years. You know, none of these we know what's going to be in the future, you know, gas, you know, things like that. So there's so many things going to change in the future. You always have to, you know, learn and constant learning and be prepared and adapt to the change and offer something that they cannot find somewhere else, right?
Okay, perfect. Kenny, you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think the future of real estate. There's a really great article by 1000 Watt. I think the writer is Brian. You want to have your article. It showed these Venn or circle things, showing what the industry is going to look like, and you're clearly seeing it. It's the future. They showed either the agents are going to be really like pretty much like Trang and Herman, really high luxury, high touch, just high service, and then you'll have the discounters. And then you'll have people employed like Redfin and Knock and Fly Homes. This is so many sites. And then you have the iBuyers, Open Door, Zillow and such. And then you have mega teams. And then you have like Zillow Flex Partners. And then Compass actually was big enough as their own thing too. So in the future, the agents are going to be very segmented. Unfortunately, you think you can't be a jack of all trades. You got to hyper focus on what it is. For myself personally, we love online leads and we love running a team, and we went that round. We're going all in. So you really got to figure out like which part of the market you want to be in. If you're just kind of doing business casually, like everyone else is eating your piece of pie, either they're doing better or cheaper for you, or they're, you know, paying referral fees. So like it's just a lot going on. People really got to decide what type of agent you want to be and hone in on. Like, what's your brand?
Perfect. So here's what I'm hearing from all three of you, which is really, really cool. That you learn, you adapt, and you showcase your uniqueness. And more, as important is that you keep up with the trend, what's going on. You're always in the know. So this way you know how to pivot, you know how to get to the next level whenever that changes. So thank you for that. Okay, Justin, I'm gonna ask your help with this. We're gonna open up to the audience. So can you help me with the questions that you?
I got you. And to our attendees, thank you so much for putting in the questions. Some of them are very similar, so I'm going to kind of group it together, you know, for the sake of time. So the first one, actually, it's very convenient that Kenny Fest comes through. A couple questions about technology, productivity, you know, what you do specifically to share listings with buyers, clients. Is there a specific app, platform, anything else that makes you guys successful, you know, in terms of technology?
There's a lot of different ones. I mean, Row Scout is one that comes to mind a lot. It's cleanest interface, a little more like unique attributes and stuff in there. But every agent should have some type of CRM or listing alert system sent out to their clients. But in this market too, like I've heard many of my agents getting beat out on offers. They're now going back and like checking the MLS a lot more. So like not in high tech. They're sending your clients the listing. Like, here, please look at this one.
Okay. Trang and Herman, you guys want to add to that?
Yeah, any specific app or anything technology-wise?
Technologies, no, I mean, there's just, in this market, it's just so difficult. It's difficult because you have to constantly every day figure things out, what is new on the market. So I think just be on the phone all day, it helps. Being nice to other people, be nice to other realtors, because they can help you so much with the information, what the offer is. So I think just constantly being on the phone now than ever before. Not so much.
Yeah, Tran, I so agree with you. It's not about like some shiny new app. I mean, that's just like the lazy person's answer. Like really, you have, even if you do have an app or a CRM, or you have to manage it. And it's really because the things are like lasting on the market for a day or two. You don't have time to blink your eyes. So it's like you have to be constantly wired. It's like really anxiety driven sometimes, but that is the reality of the market. But if you're asking for something specific, yeah, I use Real Scout. I rely on it heavily. What else do I do? I mean, calendar, showing times, but I mean, those things are going to come and go. Honestly, it's like every year something else. So I've never overly heavily invested in something. I mean, that was the lesson about like Top Producer in the 90s. Like when you get too invested in something, they're going to get bought up. Things are going to change. A new technology to come. But I just never want to do that to myself. It's really, this is just my only app. I don't have a CRM actually. Girl, I don't have one.
One more app, I think a lot of like High Note, I think Sotheby uses it, Intero uses it. High Note, like it's a digital presentation tool. So you put in your profile, you put in your CMA, you put in your awards, that stuff, like it will hold the test of time. High Note, right. And then our agents, we're training them to use this tool called Mixmax. It's a video tool. It's really cheap. It's like $9 a month. I know there's BombBomb and other cool things too, which takes a little more work. But after every interaction or after every phone call, our agents are saying, hey, this is Kenny. I just want to put a face to the name. I look forward to meeting you on Sunday. Or then after you do the showing, hey, just want to send you a video. Look forward to being in touch. We should set up a call, but here's a CMA for property. But video is very, very key. And you can do that. It could just be a video text, right? But so it's not really the tool. It's more like the general tech. I think people need to be using more video and needs to be it's communicating. Calling agents, you still got to call your clients and engage a lot more, especially when it's so crazy right now and they're shopping, they could be shopping different agents.
Mm-hmm.
Great job there, Kenny. That's a good point. Justin, next question.
Yep. So, lead gen specifically, you guys get all these really cool listings. Herman on the luxury side. At this point in your guys' career, is it through your sphere of influence? Anything else top of mind in terms of getting new business, especially in 2021?
For me, I know Kenny just mentioned he's very big onto online leads. I do zero online leads. I just detest them myself. I don't do well with that. I only work with people who I know are warm referrals. So I would say like 99% of my business is referrals, and the 1% that I'll maybe get some from random Yelp. So it's like they've never really. I just don't enjoy them. I don't know. I just it's all kind of warm leads or hot leads from referrals. Yeah.
Trang?
I also get a lot of referrals. I think all my transactions recently have all been referrals.
Wow, that's awesome. So
I feel like if you're like in the business for at least 5 to 7 years and you're doing a good job full time, you should be getting referrals all the time to where you don't have to invest. I feel like agents who have to like always constantly like go and reach and advertise is because the repeat clients aren't sending them enough business. Like I would love to have time to go advertise left and right, but I'm so busy with the referrals. Like it's just, but I mean, Kenny's model is different. So he's scaling on it, but for a regular agent, it's, I feel like,
So for me, I have 115 people on my sales team. So almost like a full-fledged brokerage now. But I'm still very heavy in referrals. I personally don't work online leads. Like to clarify that when the online leads come in, my agents will book the appointment and I'll go, but I'm not working the online lead. But this month I have a referral. I have a spreadsheet. This month I had 15 referrals come in so far. 8 of them were for other agents. 5 were from lenders and 2 were from like Sphere. So it's like definitely, and those are ones that I will actually touch. And if I have time for it or partner with an agent, I think agents, and then I could attribute that mostly is due to social marketing. It's just being seen, whatever it looks like to you. If you go out with people a lot and, ARIA conference, like we all go, that's a great way. But right now, again, we're not seeing people. You have to be seen online, whatever that means to you.
good point, Kenny. Okay, perfect.
All right. Yeah,
Justin, next one.
We can all agree market's super crazy right now. It's been that way, since the pandemic. This upcoming quarter, vaccinations, things are kind of on the come up. Hopefully for June 15th for the state of California, things will get lifted. But do you think that it will remain a crazy markets? Do you think that COVID, everything that's going on in the world, things will slow down? I mean, what do you guys anticipate for this upcoming year?
I think that we, the next year, 2021 and then 2022, I think we're still going to be in a strong market in real estate. It takes some time. I know that even we have vaccines coming and a lot of people are now getting vaccines, and I'm getting my second shot next week. Even so, this vaccine, it protect you 50% maybe. We still do in the research stage. And still you have to wear a mask after, still have to clean your hands, still have to, be safe even in real estate in the next year. So this is going to continue next year. And I feel like the market is still going to be very, very strong seller next year.
Okay, Kenny?
Yeah, I think the market was staying in this frenzy for at least the next year and a half. I'm honestly not too optimistic about it. Like 3 years out, these prices can't hold. I think with interest rates going up, inflation, the prices should drop. We were on a 9-year run. Now we added another 3 on top. It just makes no sense. to be able to move at this pace. You know, with inventory being like something people understand, there's actually more sales happening in most cities this month than last year. More sales. So if you're an agent and you're worried about inventory and that, like, make sure you're explaining it's just inventory is half because things are moving faster, half days on market. So I think what happened was construction stalled. So we're already on a housing shortage. And last year is just complete wreck. But now it looks like every city is really encouraging development, even stuff here in like Pittsburgh and Oakland and Brentwood and some parts of Oakland. So I think as long as more homes get brought to market, there will be more sales. But unfortunately, if you're focused on listings, you know, because most of it's one-sided deal, right? It's just gonna be, I think it's gonna be a really hot and crazy market for at least the next year and a half until everyone buys it. Even the condo market's coming back because people are now open the metro. So it's just there's a weird wave of money coming back and forth, but it's kind of equalizing the market. So it's a healthy market for at least the next year and a half.
Okay, Herman, what do you think?
Goldman Sachs said like 7% across the board, essentially, prices raising. So I don't think it's going to be any like different when we're going through. It's going to be very frenetic. In terms of what Kenny said about, what can you say about? Yeah, it's not like so much the inventory rate. Like the sales are happening sometimes even more than last year. What people don't understand is the absorption rate. You don't have 2 weeks and 2 weekends to go see a house. It hits the market, it's gone. I think that will slow down. I mean, there was some hope in the industry that the increasing, because last year I think the rate dropped 14 times. This year I think it already jumped up a couple of times, but it dropped twice already. I think just yesterday. So already the hope that the rate was gonna like kind of slow things down a little. I don't think it's gonna happen because the rates obviously went down. And even if like it does slow down a little bit, oh, so what? Instead of getting 30 offers on a home, you're getting like 10. There's just still not enough inventory. And in terms of new construction, everyone wants to build, but the supply chain is down or delayed heavily. And you even, girl, we don't even have no boba coming in. Did you hear that article?
90% less boba.
I know.
Lumber's not essential, honey. That boba, girl.
We have a shortage of ketchup right now too, by the way. Yeah.
What?
So I have these buyers who like I referred out to Arizona and Texas. They're sitting there waiting for a house to be built, it being delayed by almost an extra year because they just. So I don't really. It's going to be bonkers for the next year. Yeah.
I think if people will buy, anyone with money can just, if they can't buy here, they just buy there. It's as simple as that. Without even talking about what cities, people are just more open, work remotely. You can't. I mean, it went from like at least in Bay Area, right? I don't know, San Francisco to Oakland to Antioch to Brentwood to Manteca to Tracy to Stockton to Fresno. You're going to buy something along that price range, and you're just going to constantly keep going out until you find something that you can afford. So every market has demand.
Okay, so you hear, all of you have heard it here first, that the market will continue to thrive the next few months and a year, and maybe even beyond that. So continue to keep up with the trend. Thank you for sharing that. One more, I think we have time for one more, Justin, and then
okay,
we'll
yeah, sure. I'll bunch it together. So competitive markets, you know, you're dealing with comps that do skew the appraisals. You have a lot of competition in terms of writing offers, a competitive offer that will be the winning offer. You know, just overall, I mean, from the buyer side, just dealing with that. I mean, any advice to win the offer, essentially, whether it's the appraisal, everything else, you know, in between for the transaction.
I'll go. I heard this great quote from one of my masterminds. It says it's not really a seller's market right now or a buyer's market, it's an agent's market, meaning the relationships matter more than ever in this market. So it's funny, like in our Slack channel, anytime someone writes an offer, the pop in Slack, does anyone know this person? And it more times than not, about half. If it's like our core agents, yeah, more times than not, but new agents, they kind of shop a little further. Yeah, but the knowing the agent is just goes a way long. And then, you know, if you're a top producer, you really got to lean on your stats that, you know, the script that we tell our agents, like, you know, when you're working with our team, you know, let people know you're on team because we have a lot of listings. So if other agents want to play nice with us, they want to write on our listings, hopefully that relationship is reciprocated. So that's something we tell our buyers and our sellers, that when you work with us, you have more reach, just think better things happen. So it's an agent's market, and you really got to make an effort to engage. and network with people. You can network over Zoom too. Don't think you just have to go and mixer in person to do that, but you really need to make effort to meet agents to build relationships.
So it's important to get out there and know each
Very.
other. Okay. Herman?
I love that, Kenny. It's definitely, I didn't know how to say it succinctly, but basically that's it. So some examples
Well,
right
you crush
now.
on the off
I
market,
would say
Herman.
this
You
year,
always have off market, do you?
exactly. I'm the off market queen. I would say a quarter of all my deals this year off market. And it's not, I didn't plan it that way, but I just think that for the agents who are connected to me or my sphere, I need to thank you, Kenny. I mean, I'm not gonna give you a referral fee, but I'm gonna thank you. Girl, listen, you posted something about Jordan Mott's off market that he posted in Oakland, Montclair. That's not even his range. He's in Silicon Valley. I saw you post about it for some reason. You just tossed him a little whatever. I pinged him immediately, got my clients in there ASAP, wrote a preemptive, and we just closed. I mean, it never even hit the market. So, I mean, that is, you need to stalk agents' website, not website, their social media, because we love to talk. We love to brag about what we're preparing. So you have to get on it. And nowadays, and this is going to sound so terrible to say because I'm on both sides of transactions, but even if there's an offer date, you just strike regardless. Okay, the worst they can say is no, and you have to resubmit it later on. But honestly, in this market, it's not about being polite and offending anybody. I mean, it's cutthroat right now. So you just do what you have to do to make it happen. But it really honestly is. If I get a preemptive randomly, if from someone from Trang, I will trust that more than some random ding dong from Stockton writing it. I will tell my seller, no, this is bona fide and go. So it's all about relationships with agents.
I'll use that
right.
example too. So
Right.
I helped Jordan and you put a deal together and unintentionally. So a way to engage and socialize is I repost other people's stuff all the time. Because then I'm the guy people might follow for off market. It's not even my off market. That's literally the point.
Okay, perfect. Trang, one last question, and we're gonna wrap it up.
Oh yeah, Trang, in regards to
okay, so in addition to relationship networking, getting off market deals and be out there really digging and finding those properties, the other thing that I think is really helpful that I've done is when you're figuring out how much to write and the agent doesn't even know, the seller doesn't even know, the listing agent doesn't even know how much to write. How much to write in an offer is above comp. What is the right number? So I have been doing, so basically, let's say you study the whole, this area like Montclair and 3 bedrooms, similar range, you're looking at the pending homes. How many pending homes at that range? That's what you're gonna write. You're gonna write that number, not the sales sold price. You're gonna write the number that pending among other listings similar in that neighborhood. So you're gonna call the pending homes. You don't call the listing agent because they don't know how much either, right? There's no comps. So you call the pending people and you call a few of them together and get an idea of what kind of buyer. You're actually competing not with the seller, you're competing with other buyers. You compete with another buyer coming in from the city, let's say in Redwood Heights, there's cash offer coming in, there's no comps, right? You're competing with those buyers. So find out who they are, and that's how much you're gonna pay for.
Okay. So it is 12:01, so we're going to wrap it up. But before we do that, first of all, I'd just like to thank each and every one of you. Great points, and as important as that, I hope the audience took a few nuggets with them and took some notes and actually really think about this and execute that into the business. Justin, you have an announcement before we wrap it up? I have a last quote to share with everybody real quick. Go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, for sure. So once again, to our attendees, right around 12 o'clock right now, appreciate your time. From this, those that did register, I will have this video just in case you want to take it all in and rewatch it. So I'll send it your way. In regards to the calendar for ARIA, both nationally and on the local level, we have a couple things on the calendar this month. So April 28th to the 29th, it's going to be ARIA National. It's going to be our National Diversity and Fair Housing Summit, huge events that we're putting on for a 2-day span. So please keep that in mind. And on the local level, and I'm really excited to see you guys. I'm sure you guys are tired of seeing my face on Zoom, but we'll have our first in-person event. And it's a very timely event, actually. On Friday, April 30th, we're going to have a self-defense class in Alameda at the Mission HQ, hosted by Reno Warrior Wilson Du. And Team USA Muay Thai will be coming through for instruction. So we'll have that out marketing wise next week. And August 2nd, we would love to network this year. And so August 2nd, we will have our first annual golf tournament in Pleasanton at Ruby Hill. So save the date for that. We'll go ahead and put out the marketing, but we look forward to hopefully seeing you and doing something normal for 2021.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So I'm gonna wrap it up. I just like to thank all of our sponsors, our Greater East Bay chapter for hosting this event, and of course our amazing panelists. And keep doing what you're doing. It's amazing. So when I think about this business, I think how crazy it is right now and whatnot. But I want to share a quote with you as I end this. I think it's really, really important that no matter how crazy it is, you think about this. This is how I live my life, and I actually have this as a mural in the back of my house. On all three sides of my house, this is the murals on there. It's just do things for other people, not because of who they are or what they can do in return, but because of who you are. So remember that when you go out in the business. I think it's really, really important that do things just to help people out. I think that's tremendous, because when you do the right thing, money just shows up. Am I right, guys?
Yep.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so
Thank you,
much. Take care. We'll see you next time. Thank
All
you.
right. Till
Bye-bye.
next time, guys. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Take care.